Bowing in. This is Robert Devane, the Success Sensei, helping you to win at life one kick and punch at a time. Episode 371. Your beliefs about money are holding you back. Your beliefs about money are holding you back. Yes, that's the episode this week. No intro, no jingle, no jangle. We're just straight into it this time. And I've written the notes for this particular episode a few days ago, so you'll most definitely hear ruffling of paper and me confused at my own writings and my own notes, but you're absolutely going to get the gist of what I'm saying, and you really need to have a think about how you feel about money and your beliefs about money, because if you want to be financially independent, if you want to be financially secure, if you want to be, let's use the awful words, wealthy or rich. How do you feel when you hear those words? Someone who's wealthy or someone who's rich. What do you think about them? This is exactly what we need to hopefully fix. If you have any negative connotations to wealth, money, richness, that's why the words financially independent and financially secure are used, to kind of soften it and make it a little bit more palatable. But basically, we're talking about having an abundance. Now, who doesn't want to have an abundance of financial resources? When I even spoke about that, did you think that, oh, that's wasteful, it's greedy? I mean, what were the feelings that you had associated with those words? Because I guarantee you, if you have a negative association to achieving wealth, then guess what? You 100% have a mental ceiling to what is possible and what you are actually going. You might say, look, oh, I'd love to be rich, I want to be rich, but if you're subconsciously, if you feel that being rich equals stepping on people, equals being a horrible, nasty person, then your subconscious is going to try to block you from, achieving your goals. We'll get to that in a minute. But I wanted to say that growing up, now, this is an Irish podcast, so, I've been to plenty of countries, but Ireland is where I've lived the longest. This is where I grew up. I understand Irish culture better than I do other countries, but I guarantee you there's similarities to what I'm saying, more or less, depending on what country you're listening from. But growing up in the 90s, yep, I've just aged myself there. If you're not an avid listener, it's no secret. But growing up in the 90s, to be ambitious, you absolutely had to hide it. It was very much frowned upon. It was very much like Ireland is like a series of villages that have become interconnected, and nobody wanted to see one person rise or attempt to rise or think they were better than anybody else in the village. And that attitude was very strong when I was growing up. That kind of who does she think they are? So if you were ambitious when it came to sports, nobody was saying, everybody in Ireland at the time was a taking part, or nobody was I believe in myself and I want to come first. It was, if we go to a tournament and we're knocked out in the first round, knocked out early, brilliant, because then we can start the drinking and start the partying earlier. That was a mindset that people could relate to, and I suppose didn't make them feel bad about themselves in comparison to the mindset of the person saying, yeah, I can do it, I can get first place, I can win, I have this, I'm confident, I believe in myself, and I'm absolutely going for it. That was alien to a lot of people, and it absolutely ostracized you if that's the way you felt. Things have changed now. It's not the same. I mean, the Irish are doing so well globally in lots of different sports, whether it's rugby or football and the Olympics. We're holding our own in many different sports, even though we're a smaller country with smaller resources. And it's down to the mindset and the belief that we didn't have, or we didn't allow ourselves to have, or we had to certainly hide and contain. We've realised sports psychology is so important. Belief in yourself isn't arrogance. Now, the same came to other pursuits like say for example, for a good while I did a lot of acting training. Now, it was no secret I wanted to be a television and film actor. At the time, growing up in the 90s, saying that, again, would ostracize you. Who does he think he is? He hasn't treaded the boards. He needs to be a proper thespian. In other words, the Irish industry at the time was heavily weighted towards theatre. If you plied your trade at theatre acting, then you might then work your way up to be given the opportunity to audition or to try out or to have a part in television or film. It was absolutely a rite of passage, and that ambition of wanting to be a television or a movie actor was absolutely frowned upon. That it was an ego pursuit and not one based on your craft. So it's just another example of how has that changed. Look at the many, maybe they have done a lot of theatrics, I don't know, but certainly we have many great television and film actors from Ireland, and any of the award ceremonies will just go to prove that. So that has changed. Now, on to what hasn't changed. What hasn't changed, post Celtic Tiger, post the recession, post the crash, is wanting to be rich is now, I don't know, it seems to be even more distasteful than ever, especially as the divide between the haves and the have-not is greatly increasing. So wanting to be rich, actually openly saying you want to be rich, you want to be wealthy, makes people, I don't know, think that you are evil, greedy, or that you're going to hoard wealth. You're vilified. So that's why everybody's floating around. Everybody needs money to live. Everybody secretly would love to be independently wealthy, would love to be financially secure, financially independent. As we said, what those words can intermean wealth or rich, but absolutely secure. Everybody would love that, but everybody's playing the game of let's try to maximize my financial independence and pretend that it's not a motivating factor, and I'm not interested in that. That's the game that everybody is playing at the moment. The question I have written down here is, can the poor become rich? And not without the right mentality. So that's specifically what we're talking about. You are really not giving yourself a good shot if you have negative connotations towards acquiring, wealth. So we're all involved in a capitalistic economy. So there's a shocker for you. Ireland is a capitalist economy. We wouldn't have any of the infrastructure. We wouldn't have anything if we weren't a major believer in capitalism. And yet we're all pretending that we aren't capitalistic. Even that word, capitalism, what kind of an emotive response did that trigger in you? Oh, capitalism. Oh, again, greedy, evil, hoarding, villain. We all want money. We just don't want to admit or display it the majority of times. Many small companies try to hide that, cash flow and profit is one of their main objectives by pretending to be less capitalistic than they actually are, but they wouldn't exist without it. That is especially community-based business. They love to pretend that larger business is different. Everybody knows larger business, but again, larger business is more vilified in the public consciousness. But small business has to play this game of, oh, you are here, we really believe in their service and the products, which is absolutely as you should, but they are undermining the importance of cash flow, because it wouldn't exist without cash flow. It wouldn't exist without profit, and if that profit margin isn't enough to keep everything going and more, then they wouldn't be doing it. So beyond no illusion as to that, it's already harder in this country than ever to become financially independent. I genuinely believe in Ireland, if your main objective is to have multi-millions or to be a billionaire, then Ireland is the wrong country. Everything is kind of against you. It's a small economy. It's heavily regulated. Tax measures are extreme. And a lot of it is because of our belief about what's enough, what you should have, our definition of rich. You know, as a country, the tax thresholds are very low when it comes to the definition of what is wealthy and what is rich. And we hate to see people getting ahead, especially if it means that they're getting ahead of us. So we'll absolutely penalise each other as much as possible. So Ireland is already extremely hard to make money, to become very wealthy or very rich. That's why any of our high net worth individuals have made their money from outside of Ireland. They might have ended up residing back here again, but I guarantee you that it wasn't necessarily just Irish income that they made. We don't want anyone making money, basically, as I've just said, especially if they already have money. So we don't want to see the rich getting richer. That's so strong in us and so inbuilt. Maybe probably left over as a result of, you know, our occupation. The English occupation of Ireland many years ago. We hate to see rich landlords specifically, or if we feel they're not worthy. If we feel, so we don't want to see the rich getting richer. We also don't want to see people getting richer that we feel aren't worthy. What's an example of this? Right, perfect example is, how do you solve the housing crisis? Did you know there's a housing crisis on the moment? Of course, it's the main feature and of the news every single day. Not only is there a housing crisis, but it is an emergency. How do we solve it? Well, we solve it really, really easily by building more houses. Okay, that's an easy solution. We all know that. We need to build more houses. Everybody wants to, if they can't, you know, own, they want to rent. We need more houses, right? If I simplified this enough, so we've a housing crisis, we need to build more houses. How do you build more houses? Now, this is the part that isn't palatable for a lot of people. This is how you build more houses. This is it. You listening? You let everybody get rich. That's how you do it. You let them make more money. So we've just said that as Irish people, we resent the rich getting richer. We also resent people getting richer if we are people getting rich if we feel they're not worthy people, if they're a certain demographic. And I'm saying, if you want to have houses, if your sole objective is to get houses, get them built as quick as possible, get as many people houses as possible, this is the thing. You have to let developers get rich. You have to let architects, builders, landlords. If your objective is to build more houses and have a home for everybody, this is it. But you see, we don't want that. We want to have all these houses, but we don't want any of these people to get rich or to get more rich. So we're shooting ourselves in the foot. I only looked today at the news, and it was about how they were talking about changing the legislation so that you could have, like, every house is pretty much done in the country. You could have a cabin, a detached cabin, like a wood cabin, or, you know, a livable shed type, mobile homes type / cabin in your rear garden, and without needing planning. Like the way you can build an extension, a 40 square meter extension onto the back of your house without needing planning, but you can't build that 40 square meter detached from the house without planning. So they're saying it's being proposed to get rid of that, so that your home can be intergenerational. In other words, the kids can live in a detached property in the back of your main house, and then ultimately the parents can then, if they wanted to downsize into that, and they swap over. So they're talking about, now, what were all the comments? Guess what all the comments were? Oh, greedy landlords, developers, the people who build the cabins are going to be making more money. It's a pretty simple solution, and it's one that will absolutely work, but sentiment in the comment section certainly was greatly against anybody financially benefiting from it, and this is the problem. By the way, we are the 6th richest country in the world. Little old Ireland, the 6th richest country, but the people don't feel rich. We don't feel rich. We're one of the highest GDPs per capita, but that capita isn't receiving those GDPs. We all know we're propped up by the tech sector, and all the money is, in the tech companies, but when it's divided up per capita by all the people, it makes it appear like we're doing a hell of a lot better than we are. What I'm saying is it's not that easy to make money in Ireland, number one, and especially if you have the mindset of anti-money and anti-capitalism, it's going to be even harder. So I'm not going to tell you what to do with your beliefs, but I would, know your chances of being successful, being financially independent, based on your mindset towards money, and based on your mindset towards people with money, towards the wealthy. You do reap what you sow, so more, so more. You reap what you sow, you may as well sow more. Is that greedy to work even harder so that you can reap more? Is that the definition of greed? Is that what we're going with? Not somebody who chooses not to reap at all and expects to have a full crop. Remember, if you do become rich and you do suffer from this immense guilt of having too much, you can always give it away and help more people. You can always do great stuff. Like, it doesn't have to just stay in your account with you looking at it with all this immense guilt. There's a few things I have for you to have a little think about. The first one is, and have a think about your feelings, have a think about how these relate to you. It's more important to live in the moment, as you could be dead tomorrow, than it is to amass financial independence. Do you subscribe to that one? That was one I hear a lot. That, you could be dead tomorrow, so just live. What's the point in saving and investing? And, so that's one. Do you feel like that? Do you feel it's more important to live in the moment, as you could be dead tomorrow? Here's another one. More money. I think it's from the lyrics from a song. More money, more problems. Is that true? Would you ruin yourself if you had more money? If you believe you would ruin yourself, or you would make really poor choices with more money, guess what? You're already inhibiting yourself. Your subconscious is not going to really want you to get more money, really, is it? Are rich people bad people? Does money improve or disimprove a thing? So does money improve or disimprove something? When you add money to it, does it make it better or does it make it worse? Is money the root of all evil? Is money a zero-sum game? In other words, for you to gain, someone else has to lose. Do you believe that? Do you deserve to be financially secure? Do you believe that you deserve to be financially secure? That's definitely one you need to think about and have a fairly positive answer towards. Is money scarce or abundant? Is there more and more being created every year? Is it scarce or is it abundant? Do you have to be lucky? Or do you have to be highly intelligent to be wealthy? Do you have to be born into the right family or born into the right circumstances? Now, here's another thing I hear from people when you're honest about, wanting to maximize your outgoings and maximize your incomings. In other words, you're chasing financial independence. Here's one I often hear: you can't bring it with you. Like that's the rebut. You can't, the rebuttal. You can't bring it with you. None of us are trying to get buried with our money, but we absolutely do want to leave an inheritance, and we actually do want to put the money to good use, and we actually do want to be not reliant on the state in our old age and as our health declines. So no, our intention was never to bring it with us. It was absolutely to leave it behind, and leave our family situation in a better situation than it was, when you were born. The richest person in the cemetery. There's no point in being that person. When you're in the cemetery, it's all, as we've just said, hopefully your money is going to, maybe it will make you rest easier in the cemetery, knowing that your money has been put to good use, knowing that your dependents, your loved ones, are looked after, knowing that you've left planet Earth in a better condition and a better state than, while you were around. Maybe that will give you more peace of mind. There's a lot of different thoughts. There's a lot of different things to think about. There's a lot of different feelings. There's a lot of different, even people who are fully committed to making money and fully committing to, giving a good service or giving a good product, and being benefiting financially from it. Even people who are capitalistic still have some negative feelings and some negative thoughts, and like a handbrake, like the handbrake on an expensive car. The expensive car is no good to you if the handbrake is stuck and you can't disengage the parking brake and start actually driving it. And that's what happens to your mind. That's what negative thoughts and negative associations, it gives you a glass ceiling that you didn't even realize was there, because you'll get to a certain point and your subconscious believes that after this point, this is now, greed or hoarding or evilness, or, it's I need to be more anti-capitalistic. Money generally improves things. If you inject money into a sports club, of which I've been involved in sports all my life, if you inject money into a sports club, do you get better equipment? Do you get better facilities? Do you get better coaching? Do you get better nutrition? Everything. It affects absolutely everything. It improves everything. It is important. It's not the number. Like, you're rewarded for quality. You're rewarded for output. You're rewarded for what you produce that's useful to as many people as possible. So we're absolutely not talking about chasing money for the sake of chasing money through any means, scamming, anything otherwise. Because again, you will know yourself. You can't kid your subconscious. If you're doing things that you know is shady and you wouldn't appreciate in others, do you think you're going to like yourself and going to allow yourself to rise above the position that you're in at the moment? You won't. So you may as well just do it the right way that you can be proud of. As I said, there was a lot of thoughts there, so hopefully you followed along. Thank you for listening. I'm Robert Devane, the Success Sensei. Life is a fight you can enjoy and win. Bowing out.